And over time, my dad sat down one day, he's like, "You know what, son? I think you may have made more money this quarter doing that." He was an engineer at TI, there you go, and I was using his tools in the garage, which were also Craftsman. Dennis Collins built his name in the world of classic cars, where he turned rare automobiles into prized machines. Over the years, he has built a strong reputation of his own by creating a YouTube channel where he restores and flips some of the most valuable cars ever made. Fans have followed his record-breaking auctions and restorations for years. Recently, fans have been wondering what he's up to. So, join us as we discuss what really happened to Dennis Collins. So, just walking up to it, you can tell it's a mid-year car, obviously, tell it's a 64 cause that's a one-year-only hood, same hood as a 63, but doesn't have any inserts in it. What do you know about it, Robert? Other than your dad's had it forever, well, it's got 46,000 miles on it. So, if the power steering was added, the only option this car had was a hard top. Since his time on television, quite a lot has happened in Dennis's life, but nothing compares to the heartbreaking loss of his son, Derek. From a young age, Derek grew up around family businesses and later carried that into his career. He worked as a manager at Action Company and Horse and Rider before joining his father at Collins Brothers Jeep, where he became part of the same world that made Dennis a recognized name in classic cars and Jeep restorations. Derek's role in the shop gave him both responsibility and connection to the work his father built over decades. He contributed to the day-to-day management of operations and kept the business running smoothly. For Dennis, having his son step into the company meant Collins Brothers Jeep was not only a business, but also a family legacy. Away from work, Derek was a proud father. He cherished his two daughters who filled his life with warmth and joy. Fast forward to July 2019, Derek unexpectedly passed away. His death was sudden, and while the world watched in shock, Dennis and the family chose silence, declining to reveal details about what had happened. The silence from Derek's family didn't sit well with fans, and many couldn't help but wonder why such silence. Just days before his passing, Derek's Instagram account went quiet. His last post, dated June 29, 2019, was a heartfelt tribute to his best friend. In that post, he described his friend as beautiful and awesome and said that only the luckiest men on earth get to feel such love. In the days following Derek's funeral, social media was filled with messages of support. Some fans posted heartfelt tributes while others shared memories of Derek and Dennis together. The family, however, chose to remain private, offering no further details during that time. Left behind were Derek's daughters and siblings, who now carry forward the lasting proof of his life and the impact he made. The loss of Derek Collins was not only a personal tragedy for Dennis, but also a moment that deeply affected the wider community around Collins Brothers Jeep. For fans who follow Dennis's car projects in public life, it served as a reminder that behind the rare automobiles and high-profile auctions are personal stories of love and loss. Aside from the heartbreak of losing his son, Dennis Collins also faced the challenge of being off television after Fast and Loud ended. Although he was not part of the main cast of the show, he appeared on several episodes as a close business partner of Richard Rawlings. Together, they worked on buying, restoring, and selling classic cars, which often made for great television moments. Over time, Dennis became a familiar face to fans who admired his deep knowledge of vintage Mustangs and Cobras. However, as the show grew, so did Dennis's own brand. He already owned Collins Brothers Jeep and Black Mountain, two successful companies focused on restoring and customizing vehicles. Even though Jeeps were his primary focus, Dennis soon realized that there was a big demand for classic cars. Collectors and enthusiasts were willing to break the bank for rare, low-mileage vehicles in good condition. He saw the opportunity and shifted part of his focus into this space. The transition paid off. His shop became known not only for Jeeps, but also for handling some of the most prized classic cars in the market. Just so you know, Dennis's reputation in the industry was strong long before the show began, and his appearances on the show only helped more people recognize his work. So, when the show concluded after 16 seasons in 2020, all cast members, including Dennis, transitioned out as production ended. What this means is that contrary to what many believe, there was no fallout between Dennis and Richard. Dennis only moved on and decided to dedicate more time to his businesses and build his own platform. That decision led to the creation of his popular YouTube channel where he documents his journeys, car findiness, and restorations through his Coffee Walk series. Millions of viewers now tune in weekly to watch him share his passion directly. Beyond running businesses, Dennis is also known for spending big money on rare cars. He was once in the news for buying the famous Lawman Mustang, a Super Boss 429 horsepower muscle car for under $100,000. However, the car was later sold at auction for over $2 million. Today, Dennis Collins is more than just a Jeep dealer. He is a businessman who has built a career around cars of all types, from off-road vehicles to vintage classics. His passion for Jeeps gave him a foundation, but his curiosity and boldness pushed him into bigger opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, Dennis once utilized a rare chance at the 2017 Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale to make history. At the event, he sold 6 rare Ford Mustangs, with each one setting a new world record for its model. You see, the Barrett-Jackson stage is no ordinary auction block. It is one of the most respected platforms for selling collector cars, where buyers come from all over the world with fat bank accounts and sharp eyes. To bring one car, there is an honor. But to bring 6 and see every single one break a record was nothing short of remarkable. For collectors and fans, this moment confirmed what many already believe: Dennis Collins is one of the best when it comes to finding and restoring Mustangs. The first Mustang Dennis sold was a 1994 Ford Mustang GT convertible. At first glance, the convertible looked like a common model, but a closer look showed it was in perfect condition with low miles. When the GAVL came down at $44,000, it set the highest price ever paid for that model. The second car, a 1989 Mustang LX hatchback 5.0, was loved by enthusiasts for its speed and handling. The buyers knew it, too. It sold for a record $71,500, a number that left even seasoned auction watchers stunned. Dennis's third car on the block was a 1999 Mustang 35th Anniversary Convertible Limited Edition. Special editions often hold their value, but this one went above expectations. It sold for $44,000. Another record for its kind. The fourth car was the highlight for many. A 1990 Ford Mustang Convertible 7-Up Limited Edition. This model is famous among collectors because of its story. Tied to a canceled promotion with the soft drink company. Dennis's car was immaculate and the buyers knew they would not find another like it in the market. It sold for a whopping $82,500. The last 2 cars completed his run off record sales. A 1983 GLX convertible brought in $55,000, while the 1985 Ford SVO hatchback went for $63,800. Each car carefully chosen by Dennis spoke to his deep knowledge of the Mustang market and his ability to present vehicles in the best possible condition. Fans who followed the auction online and on television saw a man in his element. Dennis stood proudly by as each car crossed the block, not as someone desperate to sell, but as accurator of history, making sure each Mustang went to a buyer who appreciated its worth. In the same year he sold 6 Mustangs. Dennis pulled another stunt when he decided to sell the luxury estate he had called home for years. The 2-acre estate in Murphy, Texas, had been shown several times on Fast and Loud. Many people recognized it right away because of one feature that stood above all: the massive garage. To a layman, a garage is simply a storage space, but to Dennis, it's the heart of the property. His garage was built with car collectors in mind. The facility could hold more than 20 cars. It had a full workshop, a professional sound system, and air conditioning to keep every vehicle inside at the right temperature. Special lighting had been installed so the cars would always look their best, almost as if each one were on display. But the house itself was just as remarkable. Designed with both family living and entertaining in mind, it offered a blend of comfort and luxury. A private guest wing came complete with its own kitchen, living room, and bedroom, giving visitors their own space. Upstairs, a loft provided additional room for hosting or relaxing. Step outside, And the backyard resembles a private resort. As sparkling pool stretched across the center of the yard, finished with details you would expect to see at a country club. Just beside the pool, a full baseball field gave the property a unique feature. At the time of sale, the house was listed for a jaw-dropping $1,988,000. That figure reflected the home's size, the land it sat on, and the incredible custom features. For many fans, the price also symbolized something else, the end of an era. And in case you're wondering why Dennis sold his beloved home, reports suggested that Dennis and his wife were ready for a change. They had their eyes on another home in Richardson, Texas. The new house was close to a golf course and offered a different style of living. While it may have lacked a custom-designed garage, it had modern architecture and a location that fit their next chapter. For Dennis, who built a career on buying and selling rare cars, trading houses seemed like a normal thing. Dennis, however, did not see his move as leaving anything behind. Selling the Murphy estate did not mean he was slowing down in business or in his passion for cars. It was simply another transaction handled with the same eye for detail and opportunity that he had always used in his career. Just as he had once bought a Mustang for less than $100,000 and later sold it for millions, here too he was making a smart move. There is a saying that like attracts like, and Dennis's friendship with Richard Rawlings is proof of this. Many people got to know the duo on Fast and Loud, but not many know the story of how they first met and the legendary race that later made them famous. Their friendship began in 1996 during a Harley-Davidson Invitational ride from Dallas to Daytona. It was the kind of event that drew motorcycle lovers together, and Dennis and Richard quickly found themselves in each other's company. What started as a casual conversation on the road soon grew into a bond built on a shared passion for machines, speed, and risk. This bond would one day carry them into one of the most daring underground road races in history, the Cannonball Run. For those who are just hearing about this for the first time, the Cannonball Run is not a typical race. It is an underground challenge where drivers attempt to cross the United States from New York to Los Angeles in the shortest possible time. The idea was born in the 1970s. A rebellious answer to speed limits and restrictions. No doubt it is dangerous and only for those who dare to push cars beyond limits. The opportunity for Dennis and his friend Richard came in 2007 at the start of the Bull Run Rally. It was a gathering of car enthusiasts who live for the open road. At the starting line, a fellow participant made a bold wager, betting $50,000 that Dennis and Richard could not break the old Cannonball Run record. For most, such a challenge would have been laughed off. But for two men who thrived on competition, it was fuel to fire. Confident in their driving abilities and determined to prove the doubters wrong, Dennis and Richard accepted the bet. On May 14, 2007, the two set out from New York with Los Angeles as their finish line. The distance ahead was 2,811 miles across highways. Through traffic, unstable weather, and unexpected risks to win, they would need not only skill, but also nerves of steel. Prior to the day, Dennis and Richard planned their route carefully, considering how to avoid heavy traffic and which stretches off-road allowed them to maintain high speeds. They knew that every minute mattered. Too long at a gas station, too much delay in a city, and the record would slip away. To keep up their pace, they stocked their car with enough food and the determination to push forward without hesitation. The drive itself was grueling. They had to keep an average speed of 87.6 miles per hour across the entire country. That meant stretches of the highway blurred into one long ribbon of asphalt with only the hum of the engine and the glow of passing lights to mark time. During the journey, they took turns, one resting while the other drove. Both knowing that a single mistake could ruin not just the race, but also put their lives at risk. Along the way, they faced challenges that only such a race could bring. After more than a full day on the road, fatigue set in, but adrenaline pushed them forward. They entered Los Angeles with the record within reach. Finally, after 31 hours and 59 minutes, Dennis and Richard completed the Cannonball Run. They had beaten the old 1979 record by nearly an hour, making history in the process. The achievement was more than just a race time. It was a statement of determination and skill. For 6 years, their record stood as the fastest time ever achieved on the Cannonball Run. Enthusiasts around the world recognized the feat as one of the most daring in modern automotive history. It was proof that even in an age of restrictions, the spirit of racing still lived on. Of course, their victory was not without controversy. The Cannonball Run had always been seen as dangerous, with critics pointing out the risks to both drivers.